With a re-release for the Nintendo Switch, Mario Kart 8 on a name standpoint becomes the only game in the Mario Kart series to see a major release on two separate systems. This of course excludes virtual console re-releases involving Super Mario Kart, Mario Kart 64, Mario Kart Super Circuit, and Mario Kart DS. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe contains a total of 42 playable characters, overtaking the original Mario Kart 8's record of 36 characters. Deluxe, for the first time in the series, features time trials with multiple CC options, in that not only is the mode played in the traditional 150cc, it can also be played in 200cc. The battle mode for Deluxe also contains the most game modes with 5, single-handedly edging out Mario Kart Double Dash's 3. While on the subject of Double Dash, it and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe both share the feats of having double item boxes, and the only console installments to feature a local area network, or LAN for short, connectivity. Hello everybody, Nintendo 14 here. Welcome back to the year of Mario Karts. Last part, we went over the 5 things I didn't like about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and now we're going to be on the flip side, going over the 5 things I like about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Yeah, despite it, being almost a carbon copy of the Wii U version, with the subtle changes, there are a few things that I do like about this game. So, playing as Dry Bones, we're going to be playing as him for the third quarter of the battle arenas. Just to throw that out in the background there. Okay, so... Oh, also, we're going to be playing exclusively Renegade Roundup, because there's 2 sides of the Renegade Roundup, and I want to go ahead and show that off. And then also, this video will have all 4 rounds. I'm gonna have 2 matches of the same battle arena because on one side the gameplay didn't last very long, so I guess just to make up for the time. Usually I have each battle mode at around 3 minutes, so that means we're gonna have a total of 4 battles, and then I'll have the actual results screen and all that. So yeah, we're gonna have all that uncut. So, starting things off in Wuhu Town. Now let's go over the 5 things I don't. Let's go over the 5 things I like about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We went over the 5 things I didn't like last week. Okay, so number 5 is going to be the presentation changes. I do like the fact that Nintendo went out of their way to give this game a fresh coat of paint. There are plenty of new visual aesthetics that have changed in between this game and the Wii U Mario Kart 8, such as the map looks different. The Wii U's map is blue usually, and now the map here is white. So that's one of my favorite indicators in knowing that this is a different game than the original Mario Kart 8. And also, they do have this pretty unique like little menu thing, or not, like, maybe not menu, but basically a dynamic manual, and that's in the info section on the main menu. You get a pretty well dynamic and detailed description on some of the tricks you can do in driving. Like the tricks, drifting, and then the braking and all that. They show that all in these short little clips, which is pretty well presented. And then they also threw in the list of all the items and all the battle modes. So it's a pretty neat way to compromise in that there being no more actual user manual like we had back in the Wii and GameCube days. So if this is a good way to save on paper for Nintendo's sakes, then I think they did a pretty good job with doing with the manual. So yeah, and also in the online lobbies, the Mii's do have new outfits, so that's also a pretty neat indicator and showing that this is a new game. And I honestly like the new outfits. It looks a lot better. It looks it looks more bulkier than the ones that we had in Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U. And so I think with all these presentation changes, it does make the game a whole lot nicer. I mean, everything looks a lot more organized, and It looks like the menus and all that in the presentation. It looks like it was all cleaned up, in the transition from Wii U to Switch. So that's it for number 5. Moving on to number 4 is going to be changing cart combos in online lobbies. Quite the common complaint that most players from not just this game but Splatoon have had at this point. I mean, just recently Splatoon 2 did finally have the update where you can finally change gear in between Turf War matches. But getting back on topic here. Now, what makes having this option for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe so special is that after each race, just like with Splatoon, you can change up on what the competition is, and that maybe if there's a track coming up that's or let's just say if there's a track coming up where you might need extra handling or extra speed. So like say if I'm on a track like Toad's Turnpike and I wanted to double down on some speed because there's not a whole lot of turning involved in Toad's Turnpike, then I have the option in changing my cart combo on the fly like that without having to leave the lobby and steer clear from that. So this is just a good step forward in Nintendo and adding more features that are quite crucial in the game's playability. So it's a good step in that department. I'm looking forward to seeing if Nintendo can add even more features to the game. A lot of important other modes that can make the game even more so enjoyable to play. Okay, so that's just a short description on number 4, changing card combos. I mean, it could be a lot higher because I've gotten quite used to not having that option of changing card combos. So I think as time flies by with this game, I think I'll be able to appreciate some of these things that I like about the game more, and be able to appreciate or maybe accept a few things that I didn't like about this game as well. Because let's keep in mind, this game is still less than a year old as of recording this. So if we can just give this game a few more months to mature, then maybe I can in some way just to have some sort of analysis, or a more detailed analysis, just like I did with all the previous Mario Karts. But anyways, moving on here. Number 3 of the 5 things I like about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the game playability. What I mean by game playability is that the game introduced smart steering, it introduced auto acceleration, and it introduced a lot of really unique and useful ways for your friends to play. So with I think this really complements in how this game was ported over to the Switch, in that you can detach the Joy-Cons, and both of them you can have one for yourself and then another for a friend, and you can do that. You can set it up so that way you can have a split screen multiplayer. So that's one key aspect in how this game improved on game playability. That and the smart steering does help out all the rookie drivers stay on the track and not drive off the track too easily. So by having that, they'll be able to learn from the tracks, and then once they get a good feel on the game's mechanics and the way that each track's handle, then they could take off the training wheels of the smart steering and graduate into not having it. Because the neat thing about the smart steering is that when you have it on, I think you can still take shortcuts, but I think it's not as consistent as if you were to not have it on. But the main drawback to having smart steering on is that you don't have the Ultra Mini Turbo, and that's you're only stuck to the 2 levels of drifts that you had in the first game. So not being able to have that, that means using the smart steering, you are going to be going considerably slower, especially in some certain tracks that where you really depend on having that ultra mini turbo. So I think in just overall the way that Nintendo was able to enhance the playability for this game in being able to conveniently use the Joy-Cons for each player, for each two players, so that way they play easily. I think can really it's like a good old peanut butter jelly sandwich. It's just so simple. Anyways, not to make that not to make anybody hungry or anything, but anyways, that's all I got for number 3, game playability. Pretty sweet. And that's you know, you could just use two Joy-Cons for 2 players. That's it. Just those tiny little things, and you can play off it with it. I wouldn't recommend that you'd have long play sessions with just the single Joy-Con held on its side, because that thing is tiny and you'll have cramps with that, especially if you have big hands like I do. So, with that being said, we're gonna move on to number 2 already. Dang. That's the number 2 thing I like about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is gonna be the weight class balance, and that's now lightweights in previous Mario Karts. I think all the way back from Mario Kart Wii, first game where they really took a big dip in nerfs and underperformance because the way that the new drifting mechanics and procedures that were introduced back in Mario Kart Wii. Now they finally have their place here in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and that's what lightweights are now given the ability to charge drifts a lot faster than, say, a medium or a heavyweight. So now I think lightweights finally have a viable edge over, say, the heavyweights, which the heavyweights have been able to dominate the other weight classes since Mario Kart Wii and in the changes there. So I think this is an awesome change, and that's now I think there's a lot more thinking into what should go into your car combo. I don't think it's as cut as clear like it was in the previous Mario Kart games from Wii to 8 on the Wii U. Now I think I mean, we'll still see the usual common kart combo that's very popular to run, especially the Wiggler roller tires with the heavyweight. You know, that's still the go-to kart combo, but with this weight class rebalance, it does it makes the lightweights not completely unviable, and that's you know, you're getting something when you have when you have a kart combo for lightweights, and that you got good corner cutting abilities that most heavyweights probably won't have, and lightweights will have a little bit better of. That and the 200cc, I think for 200cc, especially with these changes to lightweights, I think for 200cc, lightweights are even better than ever than they were in the original Mario Kart 8, and so I think because of that, you know, lightweights have an even better spot in where they can be in Mario Kart 8, and in this new drifting mechanic that was introduced almost 9 years ago with Mario Kart Wii. So yeah, I'm really happy about with this weight class, especially you know, I've spent all these installments just running with primarily heavyweights, and then occasionally I'll run medium weights, but with the lightweights I don't seem to run them, even if it's because of the way the stats are distributed. So quick break in the commentary. I just want to mention that this race, I'm only having just this race, is that this is my very first online race that I've had. I was able to record this, and now we're going to display it. It's also going to be some split screen action. I'm on the left side, and my sister, who was playing at the time, she's going to be on the right side. So with that being said, I think I've said all I've had to say about number 2 on the list, being the rebalance of the weight classes. And now, the number one thing I like about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is going to be the Ultra Mini Turbo. Yeah, I briefly mentioned about this back in the game playability, but you know, I've called this a while back with some of my Skype friends and saying that you know, they're gonna introduce another level of Mini Turbo, and how right what I was and how satisfying it was to see something like this. But I don't think it's a clear-cut favorite in saying that this is number one. I think this and the weight class rebalance are pretty neck and neck, but I think Ultra Mini Turbo edges out the weight class rebalance in my opinion because of just the concept of an Ultra Mini Turbo, and that if you charge your drift beyond what you can with the Super Mini Turbo, it makes for this awesome, you know, ability for the driver to, you know, get that much Mini Turbo if they're skilled enough in order to get it on certain turns. I mean, it's not always guaranteed that you get it, but if you're skilled enough to make it stretch on certain turns, then it's a pretty fun option to mess around with, and especially if you're going down the straightaway, you can ride up against the wall on the straightaway, so that way you can extend your drift to get to the purple drift, so you can get a really good launch down the straightaway with your Ultra Mini Turbo. So that's a pretty fun thing to do. If you want an example of what I just explained in stretching your drift off during the straightaway, then the 200cc gameplay that I had last week is the where's my dadgummit shades, wearing my dadgummit shades. That's the beginning title. Then you'll see on one of the Excitebike laps, you know exactly what I mean. Like Gerald was finishing his Super Mini Turbo, and then I extended to Ultra Mini, and as Gerald was passing me with the Super Mini, I was able to pass him back with the Ultra Mini. So I'm really happy with you know, an option like that, allowing you to, you know, really customize how you want to get around corners. And I'm looking forward to seeing tracks that are more designed for Ultra Mini Turbos, because these tracks are still designed in the vanilla version of Mario Kart 8, and you know, all these features that are in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I think they're just sprinkled on top of the original game. So I think these new features that were in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I think we'll see even better uses of them, say, in a future Mario Kart game. So I'm really excited for the full potential of some of the stuff that we've seen in this game. And I'm just looking forward to what Nintendo has next. Just all the stuff that I might like and I might dislike in those future Mario Kart games. So yeah, that's gonna close the books on all the like and dislike list. I mean, I still have to make up for Mario Kart 7, which I'll get into more details later, as after this last video that I'm gonna have. Now, good chance this video is already late, and that's I'm already about halfway done to what I should be done with the last video, so good chance I'll have this video go up the same week as the last video, so we'll have a little double header there. We'll finish things off with the last part for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with the last 2 battle arenas, and then maybe if I need so, I can fit in one race. So that's it for part 3 of the battle mode for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Tune in later this week, good chance, as we're gonna wrap things up for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So with that being said, I'll see you guys later.